Hello, GM, and happy Monday. I'm wishing you all the best for this week, this February 18th. And yeah, I want to thank everyone who is joining us today and building Arbitrum together. Today, we have a very exciting AMA live stream with Aniko and Justin, and also with amazing artists across the world. And yeah, today they will walk us through RARI chain and the Orbit chain that is focused on NFTs, and also they have very big initiatives. So yeah, we are going to hear more from them. And yeah, we have with us Nico and Justin, also Aubrey, Otis, James, Siddharth, Ed, Jana, Lindsay, and Andre. Welcome. The stage is yours, Justin and Nico.
Well, we're so happy to be here today with Arbitrum and this live stream. Like you said, Anna, we have a wide variety of artists from all over the world, but we're really here to celebrate RARI Chain. And we had a couple drops a couple weeks ago, and we're going to tell you a little bit about that and sort of introduce some of the artists, talk about RARI Chain and Rarible, as well as the really amazing thing about royalties on the RARI Chain and how that's encoded at the node level. So we're really excited to be here. I am Justin Gilani. We're from Codex Projects. We're curators in the space. And this is my colleague and collaborator, Aniko.
Hi, everyone. Super happy to be here and to sort of, a reunion of sorts of this amazing 2 weeks we had together with 10 drops in 10 days by 10 artists with RARI Chain, Rarible, and Arbitrum. So really happy to be here.
So yes, we're here to celebrate this new layer 3 on top of Arbitrum. I think we could start a little bit by talking with Jana, who is from RARI Foundation. Jana, how are you doing today? And it's so good to see you after our amazing 2 weeks together with all these artists.
I know this is a little bit of a reunion. We were together every single day for the past 2 weeks. I haven't seen you guys in a week. Doing great. Happy to be here today. Happy to talk about the 10 by RARI and the drop that essentially inaugurated RARI Chain NFTs. So maybe I can just give a little bit of an overview of what RARI Chain is before we dive in and give people an idea. So Anna, thanks for mentioning we are an Arbitrum Orbit chain. So we're an L3 built with the Arbitrum 1 tech stack, but we also settle in AnyTrust. So there's a piece of Nitro technology that we are leveraging as well. And that is so that we can actually keep our gas fees to the minimum possible, because we really want to focus on having the creators make the revenue, having the collectors, pay for the value of the NFT rather than for the value of ETH, which is our gas token as well. We kind of kept it simple on that front, but really wanted to focus on the value that the NFT has and the kind of revenue that we can generate for the artist. So, doing an L3 in a way that is kind of as cost efficient as possible was imperative. We're also an L3, which is launched by Foundation/RARI DAO. So we are also very responsible when it comes to the kind of funding that we deploy and the kind of cost effectiveness of running the chain as well, because we are funded by the treasury, we are funded by the RARI community. So we also definitely need to make sure that we are making choices that are in the best interest of the community for the long term, not necessarily just for the short term. So I think with Arbitrum, we found a really good partner in making sure that the tech is there. We also have a good ecosystem alignment. It's not the first initiative that we have collaborated on. So we have a good connections between our communities as well. Arbitrum also is decentralized. So I think, that is something, that was always interesting. And of course, the foundation really helped us as well in obtaining some early funding in the form of grants. So that, that really helped us build this chain with speed with our external partner, Caldera. So that's a little bit of the generous story on the technical level. Now, on the idea level, I think what the Rarible community or the RARI community has always done is they were here to build decentralized NFT infrastructure so that this infrastructure can power innovation and power innovative use cases for NFTs, because NFTs really will be the backbone for Web3 and will be the mass adoption driver that we will be seeing in the years to come. With that said, creators are still very, very important part of the Web3 economy. And they're also responsible for bringing in those masses, because when you talk about art, you talk about culture. When you talk about culture, you actually talk about cultural resonance and appeal, and that transcends technology, right? That's not something that is limited to Web3. That is something that everybody will understand, everybody will speak. And people who have maybe not been in Web3 before will try to bridge their knowledge gap, will try to come so that they can be part of this culture that now lives on Web3. Right? We have made it easier for those people to come than in the previous years, right? The UX is improving. I think it's still a bit of a journey, right? It's still not at the level at which, you might be just, joining Facebook. That's a very outdated reference, by the way. But, it's about trying to improve on the UX with every iteration of an app, with every iteration of, chain, with every iteration of the integrations that we are also deploying on the chain to make all these experiences more smooth and seamless, right? So it's a bit of a learning curve. It's a little bit of innovation, but I think everybody in the Web3 space is working really hard on creating that kind of experience that is more seamless for people to join the space, and also for people who are in the space to be utilizing it without too much of a headache, right? So I think even with our launch of 10 by RARI, there are learnings, right? There always are. You're deploying new technology, you're doing something, that was not done before. But I think the commitment to improvement is what really is for us at the core of the chain. So we are here to pay royalties, to preserve royalties, to do it on a community level, and to continuously improve. The royalty enforcement piece, in plain terms, because we talk about this chain having royalties embedded on the node level, right? But what it actually means is that the sequencer will approve transactions that respect the royalties, and it will not approve transactions that circumvent royalties. And that was for us the most simple way of enforcing royalties, because it doesn't necessarily, then the royalty enforcement mechanism doesn't necessarily sit with an application, right? We partnered with Rarible to drop 10 by RARI, and Rarible has always respected royalties, right? So on that level, we have a really value-aligned partner that we can also trust, but it is still, an app that is a private enterprise. It's not decentralized. It's not community governed, on the marketplace level, right? So everything is a big business decision, right? Now, they have their integrity. They've stood by royalties the entire time, right? But we have seen other players in the system, maybe look at ways of incentivizing trading volumes by making royalties optional. And those were private enterprise decisions, right? And I think these are things that are out of control of the community, out of control of the artist, and they really jeopardize business models and the livelihood that creators have put in building the content and actually attracting audiences to those platforms. So it's a little bit of a, disintermediation happening there that we really wanted to make sure that doesn't happen in the environment that we are building with the RARI chain. So that's why we decided to embed the royalties on the node level. And that's why for us it's important to continue, reinforcing that. And at the same time, apologies. And at the same time, build the most optimal experience as well. So very happy that we have launched this environment. Very happy to see, that creators are feeling that this is a space where they can come and drop, because we have received interest after the initial 10 by RARI drop from multiple artists. There are drops happening right now on RARI chain. So actually, since the moment we launched, we haven't had one day without a RARI chain drop. So, this is really awesome to see. And we want to continue being here to provide support to the community and be in that kind of place where, creators can feel respected, where they can feel safe, and where we can be building, more of those positive Web3 experiences for everyone.
Thank you, Yana. And yes, I just want to reiterate that as well. Like, this is really important. We're going to get to the creators in a little bit and talk about, the 10 by RARI. But I just really want to reinforce that this is a really important thing for the creator economy. The notion that these royalties are encoded on the node level. So you're going to hear some stories in a little bit about how important this is to the livelihood of a creator. But I think also we'd like to touch base with is a little bit of looking at the relationship of Rarible with RARI Foundation and the RARI chain. And I'd love to bring James here, who has been such an amazing support in this space, such an amazing support of Web3 builders in the space. And would love for you, James, to give us a little insight on how this process went for you and what Rarible believes as far as royalties in this space.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. Thank you to the whole Arbitrum community for letting us kind of share this live stream with you all. And I think at the end of the day, the real focus and position here is artists and creators. And if there's any takeaway that you get from this conversation today, it's that artists and creators are at the forefront of our focus and our building as we are continuing to develop at Rarible. If you were an OG on Rarible back in the day, like, you probably experienced some of like the earliest pieces of what it meant to create an NFT and that initial kind of creator boom. We're here doing a lot of the same things. We're building tools, ecosystems, just things to help artists and creators. And so when Yana and the team at RARI Foundation started brainstorming this creator chain, this idea around RARI chain, it was just like, there's so much synergy, so much excitement on the Rarible team, so much excitement all the way around as we kind of just get really rallied behind the idea of bringing royalties to artists and creators. When you look at the ethos of Web3, at the very core and the foundation of what it is for artists and creators, we have this hope and promise of, you don't have to be the starving artist, that old mindset where decentralized ownership can mean something different, that when you as a creator add value with your visual arts or your music or whatever it is that your creative outlet is, like, that adds real value, not just to the art that's on the art wall or in a museum or in a gallery, but it moves society, it moves culture, it can represent so many things beyond just a piece of art. And that, I think, sometimes gets undervalued, actually, oftentimes. And so when we look at this, we say, okay, royalties mean that artists could have the potential of longevity in this space, sustainable income in this space, something that gives them the opportunity to move forward. Embedding that at the node level, like, code is law. If it's written in the code, just like Yana said earlier, if you try to skip royalties, the transaction fails. That's the importance that we place here on royalties. And so for Rarible, this was a no-brainer. Like, being the first marketplace to support RARI chain, like, that for us is something that we're very proud of. We've done a ton of drops. If you go to rarible.com, there are still more drops happening, and it's going to continue. There's so much excitement, but these first 10, I think, like, I can't speak for everyone in this room, but I think we would all resonate with this. It was really special. It felt like we were all together from all over the world bringing this new thing to Web3. And there's a side chat on Twitter where we're all in a group chat, and there's so many messages back and forth with the artists supporting each other, and Justin and Eniko supporting, and Yana, and all these, like, just the best way to put it is like hype. There's so much hype and energy in that chat. And then in the back channels on Slack at the Rarible and RARI Foundation teams, like, every time an artist would go live, we were just so excited. And so I think, like, the best way to kind of summarize everything, I'm rambling now, but we always love being able to get behind and support artists and creators in this space. That's our number one priority. It's why Rarible exists. It's why I believe Web3 is what it is today. Without artists and creators, you lose the heart and soul of this space. And so I think it's a very natural step for us to say, yes, royalties, not negotiable. They are guaranteed. If you launch on RARI chain, royalties for life. It's embedded at the node level. So come drop with us, and a huge congrats to all the artists. I know some of the artists have been in and out, but I'm just so excited to hear from you all as we kind of have this like family reunion of sorts. So thank you guys.
And I want to emphasize that too, James, family. It's been such a great support. Not only does Rarible, RARI Foundation, RARI Chain support artists and creators, but also they've been very supportive of Aniko and I. One may think it's just the artist or the creator that is the forefront of these new technologies, but Aniko and I, as curators, as writers, as builders in the space, have been really amazed by the amazing support that Rarible has given. And I encourage everyone, if you have an idea, if you want to experiment with something, this is the space, especially on RARI Chain, to try it. And that's what I think really was embodied in this whole experience of 10 by RARI, is that we all went in it together. There were some surprises, but we were agile, we were flexible. The true essence of Web3 and that excitement and that hype from the rest of the team and support was so fundamental in building together. Aniko, so you and I have been working together now, and we created this 10 by RARI. Could you tell us a little bit about sort of our methodology and our thoughts behind how we put these 10 artists together?
Sure. So, when we were kind of tasked with this very exciting project, as Justin mentioned, we both have sort of built our careers on being very artist first. We like feel art in our bones, and artists therefore are kind of our livelihood, in our souls, right? So we were very excited about the opportunity to work with this new chain, which, as we've just discussed, is so creator first. And we really thought about, well, what does this space has such a breadth of different artists, different kinds of artists at different points in their career, coming from different backgrounds, different parts of the world, different cultural experiences, different mediums that they use. And so we really felt it would be important to really use this as an opportunity to showcase and to sort of highlight, the beauty of the diversity of the space. And so I think that was really a kind of driving force. And then we also wanted to think about kind of context, right? Like this is this disruptive moment, like digital art, blockchain. It's a disruptive moment, not only in terms of what the output is, but the distribution methods and the consumption methods, right? And so we felt it was important not only to celebrate that innovation, but also to see it as a continuation of sort of artistry and creativity and the importance of art for culture and for humanity. So I think context for us is very important. So it's always kind of about looking forward and looking backwards, right? And that's where we arrive at the present. So that was really our kind of North Star, if you will. And we were so pleased that the RARI Foundation and Rarible and RARI Chain was so supportive of that, and so happy to allow us to use this as a platform to sort of make platforms for others, if you will.
And to that point too, this isn't just a typical drop too, because Yana has said it many times as well, is that you could mint one or buy one of the pieces alone, but then together they sort of work and there's a harmony. And that's really reflective of the artist behind the screen, behind the canvas, behind the camera. This is what we're about, is artists that are building community, that are supporting each other, and that really created something really special in this special moment as we launched on RARI Chain, the 10 by RARI. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I was sort of about like, you think about the individual and you think about the individual as a part of a whole, right? And so it's kind of this constant, beautiful symbiotic relationship between those two concepts.
And this was really an amazing thing too, where not only the creator, but then curators, writers, marketers, chains, builders, there was just so much amazing stuff that was going on behind the scenes and just really reflective and the success of the project. A couple stats before we get into the artist. We basically, over 2 weeks time, which was 10 days, Monday through Friday, we launched an artist each day. The artist was given a really amazing write-up by us and some other supporters as well. And we did a Twitter space too, featuring the artist and talking about their process and their career. But basically Monday through Friday, we had a drop. And we basically all together minted over about 40,000 mints happened during that time. And it raised about 172 ETH that went straight to the creator. And that's really important too. And then not only did they create this ETH and create these mints, but it also created new audiences for the artists as well. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So a lot of them had new collectors for the first time on this RARI chain. So I think we can start talking to everyone. Hey, everybody,
Yes.
How are you?
Yes, to the artists. Thank you so much for joining us, the artists that are here. Yes, I mean, where do we start? We wanted it to be sort of a roundtable. I'd love to hear kind of a little bit about your experience, but maybe also just like now that we've had a little bit of time for everything to process, to settle, what are the after times, post drop? I think that we've all kind of learned a lot. We've made a lot of new friends and gotten a lot of new perspective on kind of everything. So I don't know, where do we start? I want to be equitable, but if anyone wants to read,
well, we can go in order of drop. So we see Jimena's here. We actually are with Jimena in Paris for NFT Paris. Jimena, how are you doing? And how is it post drop?
Hello, everybody. What a beautiful conversation. It's going well. I'm very grateful and humble, and just so many beautiful topics in this conversation. But just to make it really quick, I just think, the royalties and the ability to, just allow us creators to have a sustainability way to just feel that we can have time to create and simmer our creations instead of feeling that we have to drop and drop work with the royalties. Such an amazing point of sustainability that James mentioned so articulately, and the feeling after it, just like you said, Justin, is just very special. I'm very honored to have had the opportunity to draw with the other 9 amazing artists in this space, and just very grateful to be here. I'm very empowered, to keep kind of sharing this message and inviting, anyone that wants to drop their work with Arbitrum and RARI. It's very affordable. The minting, it's cents, and as a collector, the same way. And so, just I only have kudos and gratitude for everybody. Just so much love for everybody.
Amazing. And yes, it was Jimena kicked us off, and then that momentum and that energy just transpired throughout the next 2 weeks. I think that's a great point too, talking about that energy. Maybe Andre, you can share with us a little bit about how I see you've even dropped something else on RARI chain as well. Could you tell us a little bit about what inspired that and how it was to use the RARI chain?
Yeah, actually, Jimena's been a big inspiration for me for this entire drop, to be honest, just the way that she started and kicked everything off. I just really felt like when I seen the way that people gravitated to her piece, that there was a real push for people to want to mint on RARI chain, and as long as the art was good, that people would really come out and flocks, and I also wanted to just like full transparency, like for the minting for my original piece, my first piece, like I that wasn't a very hands-on process for me, so I also wanted to understand what it was like as an artist, like when I'm explaining to my other artist friends, right, who are asking me, they go, oh, well, you have this deal going on with Rarible. What's it about? Like, what is RARI chain? How does it work? And just really trying to be like the best ambassador that I can be, because I knew by the time that my Twitter space would come up, like a lot of my audience would join, and I would have to, explain it in my own terms and not just like. I just had to cater my message to my audience specifically, and so I really wanted to play around with the minting process, and I ended up minting 2 additional pieces. I think it was a really seamless process personally. I know that for a lot of people things can get confusing when it comes to bridging, but like other than that, it was really quick. I think like the total time it took me to bridge from ETH to RARI chain was, I don't know, like 5 minutes or something like that. And outside of that, it was really seamless and a breeze. I'll say that Wearables UI is really nice. It was like pretty seamless. And yeah, I don't know. I just appreciated the chain. I appreciated just the ease of use, the UI, and how seamless and quick everything sort of felt for us.
Thank you, Andre. And I think that's really important too, is that not only are these artists, they're building things, they're trying things, they're experimenters, they're adventurers. And that's really the true spirit of being a creative. And it's so rewarding to have a chain like RARI Chain and the RARI Foundation that is thinking in innovative ways to help support that. So we're very, very lucky to have that. And this energy is really exciting. Good.
I just want to say, Lindsay, in terms of sort of trusting us, you were extremely generous and you trusted us with this amazing artwork that I know it means a lot to you. So it was this beautiful sort of street photography moment of a skater, and it's these beautiful, like sort of almost androgynous legs, and this beautiful kind of curvature of the sort of skate park. And I remember when we talked about which work you wanted to mint for this, I thought I was so honored that you were willing to allow us to have that artwork. So Lindsay, I'd love to hear from you a bit about that artwork and about your experience with this. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Yeah, everybody has been saying as well. What a great experience and be amongst all of these incredible artists. You're very, you're very.
I think, Lindsay, real quick, we have a little audio issue, so we're gonna try to work that out. Yeah, we may want maybe without the headphones. We're not sure, but maybe yeah, it's still doing a little bit of buzzing.
Is everyone else? Okay.
Is it working now?
Oh, yes.
Amazing. Yes, very
now
much.
I can't hear you. You know what? Do you want to come back to me and I'm gonna change my settings? Sorry.
Amazing. So talking about trust too, I think that's really important as well. I think we can talk to Otis. Otis is an amazing graffiti artist from Brazil, has created some really great works using AR and VR. Actually, he paints in the VR space with a headset. And basically, Otis, we've seen you grow in this space from early days on Tezos, and just was wondering, how it's been for you and how dropping on RARI Chain has been.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to be here. Today is a really beautiful and sunny day here in Brazil. My camera is going wild with the lights. And dropping on RARI Chain was awesome. It was actually my first drop from this year. So I was like really excited and it was like amazing, and to meet a lot of new artists, new collectors, making new connections, It's been awesome. And the day, it was an awesome day. I had some fun with the family. I was excited, like making new connection. It's been pretty dope. And yeah, I got myself a new VR headset just to paint my new pieces. So a Balada da Lua Púrpura, that was my drop on RARI Chain. It was all painted in VR. I also made like a video about how the process went down, like the story behind the piece. So it was really fun. And I had a lot of good feedback from like the collectors and the artists that was minting the piece. It was everything like really simple, really easy, really fast, low cost, like the gas, the fees. So it's been pretty amazing.
Awesome. And then I know you've been busy painting now. You also, after you got some new equipment and tools then after you minted as well.
Yeah, so I got myself a new VR headset, and this new VR headset is really, it's meant to do like mixed reality. It's the main thing that I can do it. So it's gonna be really good for me because I can like record my videos and people can actually see like how I'm painting and like the environment around me. So it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's great. It's really awesome when we are the fruit of our labor then can help. We can reinvest in ourselves as well. So I think that's really cool. Trizzy Trunk is a Canadian artist from the skateboard scene as well as snowboarding. Video has worked with some big brands videoing these different events. And is an amazing glitch artist. And because of Trizzy Trunk, I've learned that glitching is just not some GIF, but there's a lot of software and a lot of skill and tools that go into it. And you all should definitely check out all these artists' artworks and see the different tools and the different strategies that they have. But Trizzy, just was wondering, how it was. I know you've been in the Web3 space, for quite a while. Have minted on other platforms. How was this for you, and how did it go?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it was really awesome, to be honest. I found it really seamless to be on the RARI chain and really fast. Even the last couple days, I've been sending out some of the pieces to some of my friends and other collectors, and I press transfer, and before I even notice that it's verified, it's already in their wallet. It's pretty awesome. So, and literally costing like I think the last transaction I did was like 7 cents or something. So, yeah, it's very negligible, very quick, and yeah, I just very seamless. It's just a very awesome product that they made.
And post mint now, Trizzy, what are some of the projects that you're working on?
One thing that I am working on, I'm doing a wallpaper project for phones, for phone backgrounds and wallpaper screens and stuff like that. Just coming from abstract art and whatnot, I don't really draw too many faces, so profile photos are not something that is in my repertoire. So yeah, just trying to think a little bit outside the box and do something with some abstract art.
We love that. We love that. It's so nice to then have, different platforms and different ways of thinking about things, and then being able to execute those ideas too. Speaking of executing some really amazing ideas, we have Tekis with us. Tekis is a 3D artist, uses a lot of these softwares similar to Andre as well. But Tekis, you launched with a piece called Rejoice, and it's of a head, almost angelic type of head. You originally are from Peru, and a lot of your roots come in your artwork, but you're also from the VJ and music scene as well. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience and history minting, and also with Rarible and now with RARI chain through the RARI Foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. Is my mic on? Can you guys hear me? Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I first minted with Rarible through some like VJ connections. I saw like a lot of artists getting up on Rarible, and yeah, I thought it was cool. I like always wanted to like sell videos more than like just like standalone pieces. So like interested in like NFTs was always super cool because I could sell video. I ended up just minting on Rarible, but I only minted like a standalone piece, which was like super ironic, right? But I ended up like taking like different like images and sections of the piece, and like that's kind of like how Instagram was working back then, and that like got like the most like views at the time. So like that's kind of like how it led me to like my minting process at the moment. But then like things kind of progressed where like I could mint video, and then everything went to like crunching down a little bit on like the megabytes that you could actually upload. Then it's like a progression, right? Like so everything like just kept progressing, where like now it almost feels like best to promote with a video but like mint the standalone. And then yeah, you just create these like moments, right, where like the video really speaks for like the piece that you're minting, and it gets people like involved, as well as like how it can be used like during the live sets, right?
And you bring up a great point. A lot of artists during this drop also created their own artworks or their own promo videos as well. There was a really amazing support from Rarible, from RARI Foundation, from the RARI chain itself. But it was really great to see you all sort of think about different ways in which you guys market to your own audience, or utilizing your different social media platforms or the different resources that you had. So in many ways, this was a really lovely build of everyone building together. And I think that's what Aniko and I really enjoyed through curating this, is not only were we curating artworks, but we were also curating a group of artists. And we can't have artworks without artists. So it's really, we thank you all for that. I think we'll go back to Lindsay, if Lindsay can hear us and we can hear you. If you could touch
Testing.
on.
Oh, yes, perfect.
Is that better?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, great. Sorry, Justin, I just cut you off. What were you
No,
saying?
I think Aniko is just going to frame you up again so that you could.
Yes, I was just saying that, I obviously, new chains are scary for everyone. There was no reason to be scared in this case, which was fantastic and amazing. But you were so generous in giving us this beautiful, beautiful image that you feel a deep connection to. So I'd love to hear from you, Lindsay, about that artwork and about kind of what it meant to drop it here. I don't want to sort of, tell the whole story, but I loved kind of your background working in or being a part of sort of skate culture, counterculture, these spaces that were had these utopian ideals of kind of doing things differently, and then bringing those same ideals to this, space that has, that kind of propagates the same ideas, but in this very tech forward way. So I'd love to hear you talk about that a bit, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I really, I don't feel that it was generous per se, but I feel heard, and thank you so much, because putting out work is always I keep it really, really limited, and it's always like a big emotional experience, and this was great. And yeah, just to kind of bring it back to what we had been talking about, just with culture and counterculture, and being a part of this movement, being a part of support for digital arts particularly, and blockchain, it really brings me back to, I'm going to date myself, it brings me back to the mid and late 90s, when I started working up in San Francisco with Thrasher magazine and Juxtapose magazine, and really like being a part of this disruptive movement. And when I started learning about NFTs, and I started learning about all these artists that were participating, and all the people behind the tech that are supporting this, and the curators and the managers, and and the devs, and just the excitement that everybody has been expressing, but not just the excitement, like the actual ambition and almost like punker mentality. It really, that's why I'm here. That's why I've stayed. And also this kind of like, come one, come all, and we're lifers and we're here to stay. And that really plays into the creator royalties, is not just about, dollars and cents, as much as it is to say, we support you, and we nod to you, and we pay respect to you, and we want to know where this art came from, and we want to know where we came from, and we want this to live on, and I think that that's what excites me the most. And so I thought it was appropriate to put out some work that represents that to me, and the things that I'm really attracted to. And a person dropping into a bowl with no shoes on just really represents that to me. And it can be scary, or it can be really just beautiful. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And thank you so much for giving me the platform to talk about that.
For being a part of it. Yeah, I think, I mean, another sort of, we talked about this sort of diversity of the space, of people at different points in their careers, different backgrounds, and also different mediums, right? So Lindsay, you're a photographer, Otis, you're sort of a digital painter, AR, VR. Andre, you do 3D animation. You also incorporate many different other sort of technological, features like AI, but in this particular case is a 3D modeled, and this you actually uses us as an opportunity to kind of begin or start to explore a totally new series, which is super exciting. So Andre, why don't you, we'd love to hear from you a bit about your piece.
Yeah, so my piece was called Town Square. That's the abbreviated version. It's really Town Square Wednesday afternoon at, I think it's 1:47. But my new series is called Metrics. That's why there's that little Metrics name underneath my name. Just to sort of like double click into what you were saying, is one of the new sort of methods that we're exploring with Metrics is object detection AI. And sort of a lot of my work is hyper focused on objects and looking at them from a objective standpoint, right? Objects in space. And one thing that I really felt like was a good support to that was object detection, giving us a far more objective view, and like being told that we have an objective view of these things via the object detection, I just think is really interesting. So I'll be releasing a lot more metrics pieces like over the course of the year. I think that these are sort of like the main pieces that I'll be focused on promoting. And I actually have another one coming out soon I'll be posting about in the next day or two. But yeah, that's sort of the intention behind my piece, was to sort of hyper focus on objects and the role that they play in a story, but also that a story is nonlinear, and that sort of that energy exchange between objects, their relation to their space and each other, is also nonlinear. And it just is what it is, I guess. It's just objective in that sense. So yeah, that's sort of my spiel about my piece. Mini spiel about metrics. I will be going on a longer spiel this week. So
an announcement.
Big spiel energy coming up soon. So
we're going to take this opportunity too to encourage everyone too that's watching as well. Check out all these artist profiles. Follow them on Twitter. Follow them on Instagram. You can check RARI Foundation and RARI Chain. They have tweets as well with all the artist handles on these different social media as well. But yeah, it's a really exciting time. It's a really great start to 2024. Speaking of nonlinear, I think Jimena, you have a really amazing story in the sense where you were in the sciences originally. I just was wondering if you could share a little bit about that journey of where you're at now. Jimena also is working with generative types of art, exploring code, a lot of geometric shapes, and creating amazing color palettes as well. But Jimena, if you could give us a little bit about where your journey, a small bit about where your journey was, and then what you're looking forward to in this journey starting this year.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Justin. And yeah, entering the NFT space has been just an amazing renewal. It's honestly a reawakening for me as an artist, a place to solidify my belief about creation, about being courageous, and continuing to kind of rewiring my own brain, I guess, to continue to explore. And I think that's where I'm going as an artist. Just continuing with a lot more confidence in the unknown, continuing with a lot more, I guess, self-trust and self-love in this creation journey. It can be so deeply, as Lindsay was saying, it's scary to put the work out there. It's a part of our heart, a part of us so vulnerably. And then, yeah, just continue with the exploration. There is a lot in the works. And I think this year, was set up, thank you to you and to Aniko, in a very wonderful way, and it's going to bring a lot more for me as an artist, and I hope for everybody else also.
No, and that's been really exciting too. Is the support we've seen of Aniko and I by you all too has been so appreciated. Again, we're so grateful, even to the point that we formalized our curatorial partnership with Codex Projects, and like everyone else has announced too, we'll have more coming up as well. I think we have a little bit more time, and we had a couple more artists that are coming up. But I just wanted to touch back with Yana. Yana, how is it hearing about these artist stories and the impact that RARI Chain and RARI Foundation has had on them? How has that been for you and for everyone else at RARI Foundation?
Yeah, I think it's nothing short of amazing, right? Like you're trying to do this for the community. You're trying to do it primarily for the creators and for their audience, for their collectors, and just hearing positive experiences, but also learnings, right? Because I think, today we're celebrating here, but we're also having conversations around like what could be improved, what could be done better. I think like both of these are so incredibly important. So I think, just seeing the response, not necessarily just in this conversation here today, but also seeing, the number of mints, how well Jimena's drop went. Like all of these are just such testaments to, we're actually onto something here, and this is something that will be useful to the community now and in the long run. I think that's super exciting to see. So we're pumped at the foundation. The community, our delegates, are very excited about what's to come as well for the RARI chain. So we're going to be working hard on bringing that to the next level as well. So very excited, and massive thanks to everybody who joined us in this early weeks as well, and who entrusted us with being up for experimenting with a new environment.
So I guess, just now that we're kind of, reaching the end of this hour and sort of looking back on this great time we've had, are there going to be sort of more initiatives like this that are coming up for artists? Like what do we have to look forward to now that we've really kicked it off with such a bang? Yeah.
I think definitely, right? Like this is the beginning of our journey. So I think if there are creators that are interested in dropping with us, you can always get in touch with the foundation team, and then with the RARI Chain team. We have a website, rarichain.org, where you can, get in touch with us, no problem at all. There's also the Rarible team you can speak to about dropping on the RARI Chain. So that would be James and his team. So reaching out directly to them, presenting your art, showing who you are. I think, these are very possible avenues. And I think, keep an eye out also for more campaigns, right? Because what I'm talking about here are like a little bit of individual drops. But there will be opportunities in the upcoming, months as well, where, we want to do some more coordinated effort, just like what we did with 10 by RARI. So please mark your interest, definitely. And, reach out directly to us or to Rarible.
And also want to note right now, there's we're the second week in RARI Foundation is with RARI Chain and Rarible and Forbes Web3. They're currently minting Drop a Day 2. And also want to mention too, the amazing support of Hug and the Hug platform that provided a lot of the artists that we have today. Really amazing things they're doing over at the hug.xyz. Basically check them out because it's a really great way for artists to meet each other and for collectors to find new artists as well. But a lot of the artists here today had come from that. Also too, Yana is wondering if there's any new features or new things that are going to be coming out in regards to the minting process or the chain itself.
So we are still onboarding a few infrastructure partners. So one of the partners that we are onboarding currently is Gelato. So that's a feature for gasless mint. That's very exciting. So if anybody wants to be sponsoring gas for their community as they mint, this integration will enable that. We're also integrating Magic Link, which is a wallet for builders and for apps that enables a lot of cool features. So I think now you are able to leverage whether it's social logging or different ways of checkout. And then we're also bringing on another wallet partner, which fingers crossed I will be able to announce more in the next couple of weeks by the end of the month. But essentially making the NFTs more accessible through different kind of avenues, because now you can definitely preview your NFTs in a Rainbow wallet thanks to the integration. But of course, anybody can add the chain in MetaMask and so on. So there's a little bit like more of a manual process in the other wallets, but there's another leading wallet that we are working on being integrated in more of a streamlined fashion. And I think, then just working on building out the ecosystem as a whole. So, just really looking at what users will find useful and then trying to bring these integrations into the ecosystem and really build it out. So, we have Rarible.com as our key partner. So that means that artists can drop, collectors can transact. But I think, thinking about this chain being a useful environment, we need to think a little bit beyond that. So the most imminent is improving bridging experience. Bridging funds in is easy, bridging funds out now relies on the native Arbitrum bridge, but I think by the end of this week, there probably is a solution provided by a third party that it's quicker. But then, just making sure that the chain is useful on multiple fronts and not necessarily just, minting and trading. I think that's where our focus is as well.
Well, this has been exciting being with you all. I want to acknowledge all of you, including those of you that aren't here with us today. Also check out Ed Balloon, Sadea Art, Alien Queen, Amber Vittoria. Want to thank especially Otis Otts, Lindsay Burns, Tech Keys, Trizzy Trunk, Jimena Buenavida, Andre O'Shea, and everyone at the Rarible team and RARI Foundation for their support in this effort. I know Aniko and I now, one of our favorite letters in the alphabet is R. And what does R stands for? R is for what? Royalties, and R is for RARI Chain. So thank you all for joining us today. And we look forward to more exciting things on the RARI Chain. See you all soon.
Thank you all.
Bye, guys.